Friends, colleagues, fellow students, we welcome you to United Chapel. United sits on the land that is held sacred by the Anishinaabe and Lakota peoples, and on the banks of the Mississippi, whose waters are also sacred. And we acknowledge the sacredness of the land on which we all stand. I invite you to hold a brief silence, and in this time, if you are worshiping on land other than the Anishinaabe and Lakota peoples, I invite you to share that in the chat. Let us take a breath as we join together, united community. Blessed be. The announcement in Monday morning said that I was going to speak about observations, hopes, and dreams of the spiritual life at United. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because when I was in the 5th grade, one of my classmates brought his dad's gun to class in his backpack. And that was the worst thing that anyone had or could ever imagine happening. I'm not going to do that because when I was in the 8th grade, Columbine happened, and everyone said never again. And then Virginia Tech, everyone said never again. And then after Sandy Hook, everyone said never again, and this time they meant it. And then Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, and the amount of time between never again just gets shorter and shorter. And of course, those are just the schools that we remember. And so I'm not going to do that because I need a minute. I need a minute to be sad and angry, to lament. I need to lament because I'm mad. I'm mad that we worship a God who is either unwilling or unable to stop hate. I'm mad because God has the audacity to sit me in a class called Theology for Social Transformation, but leaves me helpless in the face of evil. I'm mad because this is only one of the many serious injustices facing people today, and we are led by people who claim to pray about it but don't follow up their prayers with any meaningful action. And so I'm not going to talk about that because I needed to talk about this. And I thought that you might need to too. So this is what we're going to do. This is going to be a time for lamentation. I have chosen some readings and songs to help us enter into that space. And then I'm going to leave space for us to be together, to pray together, to cry together, to mourn, to be angry, to curse God, to roar your terrible roars and gnash your terrible teeth. Whatever you need, together.
O Lord, how long shall I cry for help? And you will not listen, or cry to you violence, and you will not save. Why do you make me see wrongdoing and look at trouble? Destruction and violence are before me. Strife and contention arise.
They say that forward is the way of time, but I What is it that keeps us moving away from more innocent days? What are we looking for that we didn't have, that we still don't have, that we'll never have? When will progression stop leading to foolish defeat? Can I cross that bridge back to childhood, to when I first learned my ABCs? Can I please release all of these memories of what's yet to come? Yesterday seems so sweet. I've given so much that I can't get back. Sometimes I wish I had kept it. Forbidden fruit doesn't yield what you think that you want, but once you bought it, you sell it too. And oh, the children who don't know any better, they're the souls that die in the process. So quickly we have entrapped them into being just like us, wishing they could cross that bridge back to childhood, to before they knew what sickness was, to the time and place when the human race believed in love. I want to believe again that someday we'll all find a way to fall in love again. That bridge is up ahead.
Rain by Shel Silverstein. I opened my eyes and looked up at the rain, and it dripped in my head and flowed into my brain. And all that I hear as I lie in my bed is a slishy slosh of the rain in my head. I step very softly. I walk very slowly. I can't do a handstand. I might overflow. So pardon my wild, crazy thing I just said. I'm just not the same since there's rain in my head.
Well, I'd like to visit the moon on a rocket ship high in the air. Yes, I'd like to visit the moon, but I don't think I'd like to live there. like to look down at the earth from above. I would miss all the places and people I love. So although I may like it for one afternoon, no, I don't want to live on the moon. I'd like to travel under the sea and meet all the fish everywhere. Yes, I'd travel under the sea, but I don't think I'd like to live there. Oh, I'd stay for a day there if I had my wish, but there's not much to do when your friends are all fish, and an oyster and clam aren't real family. No, I don't want to live in the sea. I'd like to visit the jungle, hear the lions roar, go back in time and meet a dinosaur. There's so many strange places I'd like to be, oh, but none of them permanently. So if I should visit the moon, I would dance on a moonbeam, and then I would make a wish on a star, and I'd wish I was home once again. Though I'd like to look down at the earth from above, I would miss all the places and people I love. So although I may go, I'll be coming home soon, 'cause I don't want to live on the moon. No, I don't want to live on the moon.
Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, when I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door, "only this and nothing more." Ah, distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. Some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there. Nothing more." Deep into that darkness peering long, I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore?" This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore." Merely this and nothing more. Back into the chamber, turning all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard a tapping somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore." 'Tis the wind and nothing more. Open here I flung the shutter when, with a many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mine of lord or lady perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad face into smiling by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou, I said, art sure no craven, ghastly, grim, and ancient raven wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculpted bust above his chamber door, with such a name as nevermore. But the raven sitting lonely on the placid bust spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said, nevermore. Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, doubtless, said I, what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of never, nevermore. But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking, fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er she shall press, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite, respite and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, O quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget thus lost Lenore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, whether tempter sent or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted, and on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aidenn it shall clasp a sainted maiden, whom the angels name Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked, upstarting, get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow lies floating on the floor, shall be lifted nevermore. Friends, I want to invite you to share what you want to share and hold space for each other in the time that we have left.
Oh, I'm Jen. I'm just thinking about our society, about how I feel that we need to value people. And we've gotten so far from that. And it's been about progress and productivity at the workplace and numbers and making money and power, and forgotten about valuing people. And I think that's what all the shooting is about, is people not feeling heard, not feeling valued, not feeling loved. And it that's just been on my heart.
want to be mindful of the fact that classes are about to start in 14 minutes. So as we go from this place, let us remember that we can't do any of this alone. To lean on each other and to let others lean on us. And that's the gift of God. Let us go now in peace.